All right, so I want to go into my story a little bit about the not just contract stalking, gang stalking, but everything that happened for me being a conspiracy researcher. And the reason why I'm doing this is because I'm angry. I don't like the fact that there's people that follow me around. They send me messages online. People are harassing me. Like this joke of the I'm live ad with the obsoletus and this bullshit that happened in the courthouse, and I don't even know any of these people really in this area, this neighborhood. And these people think they have the right to harass me or whatever. And I'm about to give a story that's going to be truthful, and this is what actually happened. So I was doing conspiracy research. That's all I was a conspiracy researcher. And my interest was in many subjects. One of my interests was in Charles Manson, and one of my interests was in Jim Jones and the People's Temple, and the events surrounding that era, like the Zebra murders or the SLA with Patty Hearst. Then I was interested in extraterrestrials. Then I was interested in some of the Black liberation and Chicano liberation movements of the 60s and 70s. Then I was interested in entertainment. Like I like doing interviews with people just because they were rappers or if they were in a film or something like that. I would have tried to get an interview with somebody like that. And that's all I was doing. That's all I was interested in. It wasn't any more than that. And so in I'd say in 2013, I did an interview with Daryl Anka, who channels Bashar, and I went to Woodland Hills to meet him, and then I came back to Michigan. And Woodland Hills is in the San Fernando Valley. Okay, so about a year after that interview with Daryl Anka, I came back and I did a little bit of stuff online called Beyond Dualism. It was just little like interviews I did with myself. It wasn't with anybody else. I was just speaking about research and speaking about the research I was looking into. And then around 2000 and looking back now, I think after I did that interview with Daryl Anka, looking back now, I can probably see how people are already probably listening to me and watching me. I didn't even know it. Just like the guy in the Kenesha Jenkins case, he was talking to somebody and they were telling him he's being watched and he doesn't know it. I can even see that being possible, very possible. I'm looking back at a lot of stuff that happened at the time. But anyway, moving forward. So in late 2014, I went online and I was looking at some interviews that Jordan Maxwell was doing. Now I had already been a fan of Jordan Maxwell's. I contacted Jordan Maxwell originally in 2009, and I spoke to him over the phone for about an hour. I sent him $200. And this wasn't in the interview series that I did on YouTube. This was just something that happened. And it wasn't even recorded. We were just talking on the phone. At this time, back then, Jordan Maxwell wasn't nearly as popular as he is now. Like now he's like 4 times more popular than what he was years ago. And I always looked up to his work and I was doing research. And so I had done those I had called him and contacted him in 2009. And then after 2009, I talked to him a few more times around 2011, just on the phone, just on the phone, just talking to him. And the whole time I was listening to every interview like he had ever done for years, like Jeff Rentz, Michael Tazarian, David Icke, Coast to Coast AM, all the other interviews he had did. I was a big supporter and follower of Jordan Maxwell's, and a lot of my friends were as well. And so when it came to late 2014, I was researching into the Nazis in Jonestown, and I was like, man, that would be cool to have Jordan Maxwell on a show talking about Jim Jones and talking about the Nazis in Jonestown. He's been around a long time. He's older. I just thought it'd be interesting to see what he had to say. So I emailed him, and I said, I have a YouTube channel. I just want to do some interviews for my YouTube channel. And we did a series of interviews. And then after so many interviews, he invited me to come meet him in California. And so it was a big thing where I was talking to my mother about it, and she was like, "Wow, that'd be a good idea. You've been listening to this guy talk. Yeah." She was like, "Go ahead." And she was like, don't. She was like, if that's what you want to do, don't worry about helping the family do anything, any chores or anything, or help. I got different relatives I hang out with and stuff. I do. They're like, just go ahead. So for 2 weeks, I went for like about no, it was like about a week and a half, 2 weeks. I went all the way to California, and I hung out with Jordan Maxwell for about a week. We had met in the Woodland Hills area. which isn't that far from Daryl Anka. This is in San Fernando Valley, and we met outside a restaurant called Jerry's, and we hung out for about a week. We drove around all through Laurel. I have footage of it too. I haven't put up yet. It was up on my old channel. It was up, but on my new channel, I haven't put it up. But we had footage driving around Laurel Canyon. We had footage, just sitting there talking outside and stuff like that. And it was nothing like really strange. He was. We started talking, and at the end of my trip, I left from the San Fernando Valley from Best Western. This was at the Best Western. I left from the San Fernando Valley and I went down to Motel 6 on Hollywood Boulevard. Now, the reason I went down to Motel 6 on Hollywood Boulevard is because for years I had been coming to the Hollywood area and staying at that motel. And so, after staying at the motel for a while, something had happened and there was some sort of hit that had been set up on me, a contract hit. And this isn't a joke. This is 100% true. I was the only one there. I know what happened. I mean, I'm speaking for myself. I was there. I know what happened. And so this was a contract hit that was set up on me. And a lot of people who watch me on YouTube, they don't really get what happened. A lot of people think that somehow I was set up to be killed by the mafia. That's not what happened. What happened is when I was doing my research in the town I live in Michigan, somebody was listening to me talk on the phone, and I believe it was somebody in my area, honestly, and they somehow networked a hit when I got to California, because the truth of the matter is I ended up in a meeting with mafia guys. I ended up in a real meeting with high level mafia guys, and I know exactly who they are, so I'm not worried about them. That's mafia is least of my concerns. But there was another element that was watching me, and they did have something to do with some sort of contract on my life. Okay, and that's what actually happened. And it's been a part, and the same people that have been doing the harassment towards me, the gang stalking, is the same people that were involved with that hit. And so I ended up coming back to Muskegon. I hung out in Hollywood a little bit more. I came back to Muskegon. And then after that, I went back to California again. I went back to a channeling event that Rob Gauthier had at the Holiday Inn International, the E.T. Whisperer. But I went back again after all that. But anyway, so at the Motel 6 thing, I know what happened. I watched it happen. There were people who showed up there and actually got me out of the situation. I watched it happen. I know what happened. But, so anyway, I leave the motel and I come back to Michigan. And then while I'm back in Michigan, nothing's really happening. No one's really bothering me. For a couple months, everything was fine. And then all of a sudden, I just started getting these weird feelings. Like something was going on. And then I went down to Nashville, Tennessee. Then I went to Alabama, then Mississippi. Then while I was in Mississippi, I was making YouTube videos. And I was talking about the hit. And then after I was talking about the hit, what you call contract stalking or whatever started intensifying even more, and I came back to the Muskegon area, and then I was like minding my own business, and people just started sending me threats and all this stuff. And then within the neighborhood there was people working on houses, like real estate houses, putting houses up, contract builders, and the builders were a part of it. So the people working on the houses, they were a part of it. And in the neighborhood, the whole neighborhood was a part of it. And then the funny thing is there was like the postal trucks, seemed like they were involved. The postal trucks were somewhat involved in it. And so it makes me think like the federal government was a part of this somehow. But I'm sitting there watching this stuff, and it was like street theater where people come into I was getting emails, threats, all this stuff. And then people come into the neighborhood, and then they just start pretending to, they started paying people to pretend like they were mob guys. But at the same time, the way it was happening, I was like, the way it was happening, I was like, what the hell? I'm thinking like, it's like, it turned out to be what I thought it was. It was the government paying people to pretend like they were mob guys, but it was like some FBI COINTELPRO type stuff, the way they were doing it. And like at the time, I just knew something was wrong because I knew the real mafia wouldn't do something like that. And so I was sitting there watching this stuff, and it didn't really make sense to me. And I didn't even know what contract stalking was. I had never heard of it. And the people in the neighborhood, like the different neighbors were involved with it, and they kept doing this over and over and over again. And that's like, how illegal is that? That you're intimidating a person, making them think somebody's trying to kill them through a neighborhood watch group, and you're just sitting back watching this stuff. See what I'm saying? That's the type of stuff that was going on. And so I was hiding inside the house for a month, and then after all that, I came outside, and then that's when I noticed all these people gaslighting me and the contract stock and all that stuff. And these people, my first question is, how would these people know to pretend like they were, like, these people were pretending like they were in the mafia hiring people. And at the same time, I was around I was around people I know. I know their names. I know who they are. I know a lot more than what anybody would think. And the people that I came across, they wouldn't have did that. They would have had too much to lose. So I'm thinking, why would these people do something like this? What, the people doing this to me, like, why would they do something like this? What gives them the authority to do something like that? And why would they think that was okay to do something like that? And it was the same people, I think, in my area that originally set the hit up at Motel 6. And it'd be as simple as, like, it'd be real simple to find out who the people are. And no matter what I do in my life, like if I mind my own business, I get people like this M Live thing where this guy, I don't even know who he is. He's from England. He just sits there talking about me 24/7. And so I'm like, I'm just tired of these people messing with my reputation. I don't know who I got a good idea of what the people are involved with, but so where do I want to take the story? Where do I want to go? So, so, so I don't really get why I was framed and set up. You would think if somebody was set up to be killed, why would you start following them around, pretending like you're trying to kill them afterwards? Why would you, like, I was being followed around every single day by people, and I was being harassed and stalked and all this stuff, and these people had no business messing with me. I didn't even care. I didn't care anything about this neighborhood or anybody in this neighborhood. I didn't care anything about Muskegon. I was just into my own research. Most of my research, didn't have anything to do with this area. And so, I'm trying to piece it together. And then I go online and I see everybody online is talking about the same stuff, talking about how they're being gang stalked. And so I don't know. Like, even when I think about it, there's so many facts and so much information I have that most people who know me real well don't know. There's so many things I know about. I'm trying to piece them together. But anyway, this is part one.